There's a story that I want to share, and it's about talking about salary and pay at work, and if that's okay or not. I, to my understanding, there's a lot of people who don't know the clear lines around that, and I really want to share my story because I haven't been able to for over a year, and it's about time. In September of 2017, I started my first day at work for a dermatologist's office. It was great, easy. I've had multiple years of experience as a doctor's office, at a doctor's office. And at the end of the day, I'm with my other coworkers, and I asked them about what their starting pay was at work. And one of the girls looked down at her feet and she said, "Oh, we're not allowed to talk about that. We'll get fired." And I was like, "Fired? That's not right. Sure, maybe it's taboo to talk about it, but they're not allowed to do that to you. Your employer's not allowed to do that." And so I just let the conversation go, and eventually I went home for the day. That night, I get a call from the manager who hired me, and he says, "I heard you were talking about pay with the other girls." And I explained to him about it, and he said, "The type of person that asks those type of questions is not the type of person who should be working for us," saying that somebody who would ask or even discuss about hourly pay or salary, he doesn't like. So I tried to apologize, saying that I don't want there to be any ill feelings. This wasn't meant to make anybody feel uncomfortable, and I basically just kind of said that because I wasn't sure how anybody felt. I was just assuming, and he told me, "Okay, come in the morning and we'll talk." So the next day I came into the office and I met with the manager, and another manager came in during the conversation as well, and they both basically told me, and they exactly told me actually, that they prohibit and discourage discussing pay with your coworkers inside or outside of work. And they tried to explain to me that it's bad, don't do it. And then they started judging me on the type of person that I was, when we had 2 interviews together about why I would be good to be hired at your office, at their office, and how I have such a background in the medical field and how an office runs. I know how an office runs. I was an assistant manager at another doctor's office. And so they say that they're going to go ahead and put this rule in their employee's handbook, and they're not going to allow discussion of pay to happen. Otherwise, those people are going to get in trouble, or they're not going to be allowed to work there. I don't know. And because I didn't let go of the situation, when they kept trying to get me to agree with them, and I was being so calm about it as well. I was so calm. The manager said, "Okay, this is not going to work. You've got to go. This is not going to work. Sorry." And then I asked them, I was like, "You're firing me because you discourage discussion of pay?" And he was like, yes, go." And so I went ahead and I left the office, calm on the outside. And when I got out of the building, I was so angry. I was so mad. Not because I got fired. If I cared about being fired, I would have obviously sucked up to them, and I wouldn't care about this right. But I was so mad that my other coworkers didn't have this right, that they were scared. And for an employer to be so hard about this, it's not a good office. It's not a good place to work. Obviously not good people to work for, because they didn't respect the law. And I was so sure it was the law. I didn't tell them in the office that it was the law, but I told them that this was wrong, what they were doing, to discourage it. So I sat in my car and I spent a while calling different agencies, looking up online about this. What could I do? I knew I was working at will for this job, but that doesn't mean that they can break the law and destroy your right. And so I managed to find out who handles this. It's the NLRB, and the NLRB is National Labor Relations Board. And I found out that what happened was something that they fight 100% against happening. That they would be able to help me. And I didn't know what they would be able to do. All I wanted was for those people to have their rights. That's all I want. That's all I wanted. And so that night I go home, the afternoon, I go home and I file a claim online. And I'm really glad that we have that in the United States, the NLRB. So I file a claim. And I get a follow-up with the NLRB, and they go over my claim, and we go all over it. And they get a statement from the dermatologist's office, and they find out that the dermatologist's office doesn't agree with what's going on, that the NLRB, with the right they protect, the office doesn't agree. So they either got an attorney or they've had an attorney. So the NLRB attorneys and people who handle my case would talk back with them back and forth for almost a year. And we had set up a court date because they weren't agreeing with this. They weren't agreeing that they did something wrong, and that they didn't know, or at least they thought they could get away with not allowing discussion of pay in their workplace. And I was not about to let that happen. That's why I wanted to find people who could help me. So the court date was set for in the summer, and the employer actually postponed it. And it ended up with I was right, and they lost. They lost. They broke the law. And so what you're entitled to as an employee when the law that law is broken, where if an employer says that they prohibit, discourage, or even interrogate you about discussion of pay, they can't even ask you, hey, did you ask blah 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 about how much they make? They can't even do that. They're not allowed to. And so what you're entitled to is, you're entitled to three things. You're entitled to getting your job back if you want or not. And that was something that I had discussed a while back, that I didn't want to go back to work there because I knew about how the managers were, how they ran their office. From just talking to them for my 2 interviews and for working for them, I knew they weren't good people. They just weren't. And I'm not going to go into that, but they just did not. The vibes that they gave me just would bring ill feelings up your spine. And so declined that, which they were happy about because they didn't want that either. And the second thing is that I'm entitled to back pay. Or the person who, if you file a claim, you're entitled to back pay. And the third thing is that there's a signposting in the office up for all the employees to see in an open space that if this employer breaks this rule, this law, what those people are entitled to and what will happen. And this employer is not allowed to prohibit, discourage, or interrogate about pay ever again. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I won for those people, for my coworkers. I'm so happy. They have this right now that I fought for. And the NLRB, I'm so thankful for it. I've told them that I'm so thankful. And it's over. Finally, it's over, and I didn't want to talk about it until everything was over, just to make sure that I could talk about it. But I'm so happy. So the point of this video is just to share this message, just so that you know or if you're seeking this information, you know what you can do. Please share this message with other people. You know, if you're working for somebody and you would discuss pay with somebody else at your work and you know you're going to get in trouble for it, what you could do is you could get a voice recorder, let's say on your phone. If you have an Android phone or if you have an iPhone, your phone has a recorder on it. Or if you're old and you could bring a voice recorder and turn it on. And turn it on and record so you can be able to show that as evidence if you want to make sure that you have all your bases covered. You know, if they call you, make sure you have records of the calls if you can get them, or screenshot them off your phone if you're ever interrogated by your boss. Don't let your boss break the law. Please don't. Just don't. Fight for it. It's not hard. The NLRB fights for you. All you have to do is just give them the information, because the NLRB is not fighting just for you. Although, you know, every person is important, but they're fighting for the whole office. They're fighting for the whole, all those coworkers, whether you work in an office of 10 people, 100, 100,000. The law is the law. No matter how big or small. Everybody has the right. So, thanks for listening. Share this message, please. And I'll see you later. Bye.